So let us start recording. There we go. Okay, let's get this video started for what is a VPN?
VPN is the acronym for Virtual Private Network, a technology that allows you to connect one or more computers to a private network, usually via the internet. Even though this approach is not new, in recent years it has become more relevant, mainly due to new trends in the way companies work, and also because more users want even greater levels of online privacy. Why use a VPN? A VPN allows you to connect securely and remotely to private networks. You can also link to many different networks and even servers in a safer way. It allows you to surf safely on public Wi-Fi networks at shopping malls, hotels, and coffee shops, and allows you to bypass internet censorship or regional restrictions on content and sites. VPNs also help prevent man-in-the-middle attacks, which is when a cyber criminal intercepts legitimate communications by assuming the role of an intermediary and simulating a normal connection. How does a VPN work? Let's first think about how a connection is generated. We can represent it as a pathway with a start and end, and with different control points through which data packets travel. When using a VPN, an encryption and authentication layer is applied to that pathway in order to protect the network traffic where the data packets travel. This technique is called VPN tunneling, which creates a secure communication channel within a network of computers. Therefore, in this tunnel, this communication channel, data that is traveling along the pathway is protected. All of the intermediate nodes that are involved in the communication will interact with the packet, but it is only at the end of the communication that the information is revealed and decrypted for use. For its part, the authentication layer will verify the identity of the users and restrict access accordingly. Those not authorized will not be able to get in. Now that you know how a VPN works, why not start using it along with antivirus solutions and data encryption systems? It'll ensure your information is secure and private, meaning you can keep on enjoying safer technology.
Okay, that was a lot of information really quickly. Hopefully you got a lot of it. Maybe you didn't, but questions from immediately from there? Maybe? No?
How do you access it?
Okay, so VPNs are easy, or, connect securely, make your internet a little bit safer than what it is just, defaulted. So you do have to turn it on. I got another video here too, if you want to watch it, from a news program in Canada, which talks a little bit about it, but it's an additional feature that you have to turn on. Comcast and Verizon both offer a kind of generic one. I turned mine on with Verizon years ago, and it defaults so that it's great. I've read reviews that both of those are kind of basic ones, and not necessarily to trust them as much as you would with some other VPNs, because they are these big companies, and these reviewers think that they're not as secure or encrypted as one that you would add additionally. So it's better than nothing. So you can go to your settings. I can show you where to turn it on in Verizon if you want, since I have that. But then there are third-party ones. A lot of antivirus software, if you have antivirus software like Mojave or Norton Antivirus, or any kind of whatever antivirus, they might have an additional VPN that you can turn on. It might be a feature included in your package. It might be an additional one. Just depends, I think, on that. There are also third-party VPNs that you can add. But you can check and see, maybe you already have a VPN. Maybe If you're still employed somewhere, a lot of companies are creating VPNs for their coworkers and employees. So my brother, who's at Hershey, they create VPNs and add it to, they give it to all their employees. So my brother, who's at home, is using a VPN through the Hershey company. So I think if we had known as a Westminster staff a year ago that we'd have COVID, we'd probably have a VPN for the Westminster staff as well. But we're kind of weren't prepared for COVID. But so your sons or daughters or grandkids may have given you a VPN, and you can check and see. It will appear on your smartphone as an option to turn on. You can check and see that. I can show you to see if you already have one. Let me pull up my phone for you. There we go.
Where do you check? Is it under settings?
Yes. So I'll show you, since I'm an iPhone user, I'll show you where it is on the iPhone. If you have an Android, I'll have to look at your phone with you because I don't know. Okay, does this work? Why isn't it? There we go. Okay. So if you go to your settings, which is here under messages, click on that. And you see this first section under personal hotspot. There's something called VPN. If you don't have a VPN as an option to connect to, it won't list there. But if you've already got one in your network that was pre-installed, you can turn it on there. And that would be on all your mobile devices that you can do. I can show you a video if you want from a news program in Canada, but the speaker there says that internet companies tend not to have it pre-installed because it's just one more thing that, they're like, we won't bother rolling it in, even though they should just build that into our internet. But they don't do that because why would they? Make it safer for us. Maybe one day it will be defaulted, but at this point it's not. So you have to go in and physically turn it in.
I think Daniel has a question. You need to unmute Daniel.
Dan.
Am I muted?
No, you're good now.
Two questions. How does this apply to me with a desktop?
Mm-hmm. So.
And secondly, if I've got Norton 360, would that have any involvement?
Mm-hmm. I know Comcast works with Norton, so I know that Norton has that. I'd have to research Norton to see where you can turn it on. I'm sure it's available. I'll do some Googling for you.
Lynn?
Yes.
Lynn, on the Norton, it depends on the Norton product you have. The Norton product I have, the VPN is included. So the newer ones, I think all have it, but you could check your Norton, what you would call your Norton dashboard, and see if the VPN option is there.
Okay, thanks.
Why you want it is it's one more layer of protection against cyber criminals. So you know how we talked about malware getting on your computer, right, and all these things that you can download? It's one more way of bypassing some of those criminals. Is it perfect? No, but it's one extra layer, like adding a password manager or anything like that. It's just one more layer of security. It encrypts all of the things you're doing on the internet, so it makes everything a little bit more private. especially this doesn't apply to you because you're not traveling or doing stuff, outside of your home. But for those who are, it's a lot safer. But even in your home, it's just one more layer of protection. Yeah.
Lynn,
Elsa, yeah.
it's Kate. I
Kate.
have an older phone, iPhone 6, and I found it under settings general with iTunes and Wi-Fi sync. So I can't listen and try to connect it myself, but it looks like there is a way to connect it on the older phones too.
Oh,
Just
great.
So if we want to put it on our iPhone, what do we go to? Applications or just settings or?
Go to your settings.
Oh, I have it under settings and general, but it says not connected. Should I just click on connect?
You can see if it will connect to you, but you might not have a VPN yet. So you first need to add it for it to.
Yeah, it's asking me to add VPN configuration.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But
okay.
once you set either Verizon or Comcast, or you're at a third party, whether it's your Norton or
Okay.
Mahaffey or whatever, you can turn that on and it should automatically connect. Maybe I'll show you the news video, and because he might be able to explain it in a coherent way. I don't know.
Okay.
Hopefully it's more helpful than confusing. It's a couple years old, so it's a little dated.
You're watching Global News Morning. Well, you may not know what a virtual private network is and probably don't use one, but many online security experts say all of us should be using a VPN when going online. And here to tell us why is our online security expert, David Papp. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Mike. VPN. We should all be using them. We're probably not, I said. What exactly is a VPN?
The best way to describe it is imagine it as a tunnel. So from your device, whether it's your tablet, your smartphone, your desktop, it can work on all of these things. It creates an encrypted tunnel to somewhere else on the internet. And that way you're protected if you're on, example, Wi-Fi. So let's say you're sitting in Starbucks or Tim Hortons or wherever, or you're traveling and you're not quite sure if the connection you're using is secure. By employing a VPN from your device, everything's encrypted and they can't eavesdrop in on your communication. So, and there's a lot of attacks that can compromise Wi-Fi. There was the big one called the crack attack that came out last fall. It's spelled with a K. And they actually compromised our current Wi-Fi protocols that we use on our devices.
So are you saying that it's extremely dangerous for us to go into areas, use an example of a coffee shop, there are also other areas where you can pick up Wi-Fi, and most of them are probably not well protected. Is that the case?
Yes, I do, actually. I sincerely believe that Wi-Fi is not a secure protocol right now.
And what are the things that could happen, other than like the crack attack, what are some other things that could happen to you if you don't have a VPN?
If you don't have a VPN and you're using a wireless connection in this example, people can be eavesdropping, picking up your passwords, looking at what sites you're surfing. Maybe if you're using different, you know how all your apps, they do little updates and stuff in the background. Yes. It can be eavesdropping and snooping and all that information. By having a VPN, it's not possible. You're creating this encrypted tunnel. It's encryption, high grade.
So it sounds pretty obvious, but how easy is it and how cheap is it to get a VPN?
Extremely, actually. People are a little scared of when they hear different technology, but it's very easy. You go and subscribe. I recommend a couple sites. There's one called NordVPN or one called ExpressVPN. It's under $10 a month. You can install it on all your devices, so you could have it on a smartphone, a tablet.
So it's $10 for all the devices, for each one?
Nope, all of them. You can use it on as many as you want. And it's literally when you're ready to use your VPN, so you're sitting in Starbucks and you're going to go and create your connection, you click the connect button. There's a big green button. You click connect, you're done. You are now secure.
Why do they not develop these networks just as part of a common, like you turn on your phone and you automatically have a VPN if they're so necessary?
Well, I mean, it's just another layer of protection, right? I agree. It should be done that way, but it isn't. I mean, the reality is that people technology these days is all about convenience. So
now, is there a problem? Like you gave a recommendation with respect to who to use as a VPN. Are there those that we should be wary of?
Well, you want to make sure that the VPN provider that you decide to subscribe to has the features you want. Like, do they have a smartphone app? Do they have a tablet app? Do they work on Mac or on Windows? And you can also choose what locations and countries they support as well. So if you pick a VPN provider that is based out of Europe, as an example, all of your connections will be slow because we're located in Canada. So you want to make sure that you pick the correct VPN provider.
And if you were, a good example, if you were doing some traveling, would you then maybe move into a VPN at the location that you're at?
The two VPN providers I mentioned are actually in most of the countries around the world. So I would highly recommend that you pick one of those because it would satisfy even traveling.
And again, the estimate you gave at $10 that's
on the high side.
And that's on the high side.
That's on the high side.
So if people start charging you 20, 30, 40, you shouldn't. Yeah, maybe that's not such a good idea. Okay, well, great. Thanks, David. Yeah. You can follow David on Twitter.
Okay. Maybe that was
Hey,
more.
Hi, Lynn. This is Larry. One other reason you might find it useful to have a VPN, and we didn't do this. We went to China a couple of years ago, and all of our email is through Google, and China flat out blocks Google. All Google connections are not available, and a VPN can get you around that. But the downside is that the government can also block VPNs and will kind of try and scurry along behind you, blocking VPNs as they show up. But it is a way of making a more secure connection and also being able to get around the hurdles that your video mentioned.
Great, good suggestion. Now that everybody's going to rush to China during COVID. Yes, extra tips, which are great. Other questions, comments, confusions?
Yeah, question. Can you tell us again what the two VPN providers were that he recommended?
I honestly don't remember. It went by so quickly and I didn't write them down. I will go back and watch it and send you the links for those.
Okay.
But
thank you.
Yeah, I'll send you a bunch of links that have more suggestions and say that, because that is a few years old. So there have been newer, more, because they're always changing. What's good in 2018 when that was filmed is different than 2020, amazingly enough. But I'll send you the list of a bunch of them.
While I'm asking questions, my phone is always telling me that my Wi-Fi is not encrypted. Is that something that has to be done in settings as well?
That's interesting. I have not seen that one come through online. Possibly, who's your provider? Is it Comcast or Verizon?
Comcast.
Huh, interesting. Should be fine, but if you add a VPN, it will encrypt it.
Okay.
Maybe that's what it means. I don't have
try
a test. If it happens again, get a picture of it and you can send to me and hopefully I can diagnose it a little more.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions? Confusions? Have I lost you guys all completely?
No, we're good.
We're very private.
Yes. 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 I know this is more advanced stuff than some of the stuff we've talked before, so I figured I'd take it slow today.
You know how private my house is, how Patty especially. This would be a good thing for me, right?
Yes, yes. Well, give you an extra layer of protection. So that's all good.
I may need an extra layer of help, so I might be back to you.
That's okay. I'm happy to add some extra hands. We can check out and see what Norton you have.
It's Norton 360.
Ted, do you know what Norton you have? You're muted.
Can see.
let's stare Ted awkwardly until he figures this out.
Question.
Yes.
If you have because I don't yet, if you have a viral protection like Norton or McAfee or something, and there's a VPN with it, would you just always use the VPN then?
Mm-hmm.
You would never turn it off. You would just always stay on that.
Yes.
With both phone and computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, once you turn it on and have your devices connect to that Wi-Fi or whatever, it will automatically do that. So, or if you have a third party like company, like my brother uses, he goes to different Wi-Fis, like he'll work from his home and then he'll go in the office and then he'll, go visit my parents. But that VPN stays with him because it's provided by his company. So it goes through different internets. It's not necessarily just assigned to your Wi-Fi at home, if that makes any sense.
So when I go to my daughter's house and turn on my phone, it automatically would do it to her Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Okay. If you had a VPN, then you really, by itself, you wouldn't really need an antivirus program, would you?
In theory, but cyber criminals are always 3 steps ahead of us. So we want to cover all our butts because they are going to figure things out, after we protect ourselves. They go, okay, this person's smart. Let's see if I can be smarter than them. So, which is unfortunate. We're always playing catch up, but it's better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion.
Lynn, does a VPN protect them from getting passwords?
Yes. Or they make it harder, I'd say. If that makes sense.
Most of the websites for which you would be providing passwords as part of your access, like your bank or whatever, ought to be using the HTTPS protocol, which does the encryption anyway. If they're not, you should be very cautious.
Yes. Do you remember when we talked about HTTPS, Dan? Yeah. So hopefully, we add like 5 different layers of protection and hopefully one of them catches all the bad stuff. If that makes sense. Like you lock your door and you put out cameras and, add extra layers of, protection to your home, that kind of thing. Other questions?
Yeah, I'm in my settings and it says that my VPN can't stay connected all the time, or this VPN does not stay connected all the time.
That's what it says on your phone?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you have an Android or do you have a iPhone?
Samsung J7.
Working all the time.
And
that.
I'm using Norton 360 Deluxe, not the standard.
Okay, wait a minute.
The standard, when I look at Norton's menu, it says the standard also has VPN.
Okay, I'm looking. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have the standard. I'm sure because I just paid for it and nothing standard. But I'm looking up now. I went to settings. I'm looking up VPN now. Let's see. What would it?
Or go ahead. Go ahead.
What would
Dan.
it be under here? Let me see.
Carolyn, was it you who was saying that your phone was disconnecting all from the VPN? Or is that somebody else? Anyway, whoever that was,
It was
said
me,
that-
Barb Boyd.
Oh, Barb. Sorry, Barb. It says that it might happen if your Wi-Fi connection is not stable. So maybe because you're on the Zoom call, it's sucking all your Wi-Fi and doing that, or if your cell service is out of range or very low. So it might be a theory. I don't know. Hard to say without looking at it, but those are two possible
Okay.
suggestions. Whether or not that's accurate, who knows? It's hard to say without seeing. I apologize. I wish I had
That's fine.
all the answers.
I understand.
Technology, you never know. There's
Uh-huh.
always a new issue. Okay. Other.
I'm just on, and now it says VPN. Then it says add a VPN connection. Then below that, advanced options. Allow VPN over meter networks. That's on. Allow VPN while roaming. Okay, it's on. Yeah, I don't know the VPN, what it is. You're setting up a VPN.
So did you hit the on section or no?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Do you want to share your computer and maybe you can show people what you're doing for those who already have Norton?
I will share it. It could be confusing. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see if I can ask you to share your computer. It does not look like I can request you to hit the screen share, but at the bottom of your screen, it should say your share screen. Share screen, if I can talk. Clearly, I need to wake up.
I've got a lot of stuff at the bottom. Where would it be?
Do you see where it says mute and stop video and participants and screen share?
Go back to, okay, let me go back to Zoom in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
In the bottom at the very middle.
It should be green. Keyword should.
Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, share screen.
Yes.
Yep.
And the first one should be highlighted.
You're right. We've got blue around it. Yeah.
And then hit share.
Hit share over here to the right.
Yep.
So I'm sharing now?
Not yet.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, maybe my computer's being. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I have two screens. I have too many things open.
I see it.
Nice. Yes, I see it too. Oh, it looks like you've got it on.
Yeah. ON.
So this is in your control panel on your computer.
I went over and it went up to settings. And then, yeah, came to this.
Okay.
Is it, add a VPN connection plus, does that, I already have the VPN connection then.
Maybe. It looks like it.
I disagree. I think that's
When you're roaming, it connects to one that's around you? Is that what it's saying?
Look at when I hit this.
Okay. Yeah. What happens when you hit the down arrow? Does it give you a choice of Norton or something else?
We're going to find out. Windows built in.
Yeah. Oh. I'm going to do some Googling.
I think you need to go to Norton settings and not Windows settings.
Yeah, go to your.
Now, how am I going to do that?
You have to unshare first.
I
Should
do.
be able to continue to do it through sharing.
Here, I hit cancel here.
You stop sharing your screen.
Still there.
I did. Stop. Wait.
Sorry, guys, this is new for me too. We're learning together.
Yeah, it's good.
Am I
Back to home. Oh, there it goes.
okay? I'm not sharing, right?
No.
Right.
Should I share?
Sure.
The red stop share is on.
Yes, you're sharing right now.
Okay.
Do you want to open Norton for us?
Let's see now. How would I do that?
Should be under your cert. Yeah.
Here.
Scroll down to N. There it is.
Okay. It'd be under Norton LifeLock, I guess, right?
Yeah.
LifeLock is the identity theft
Right.
piece. I don't think VPN would be there.
So it would be under Norton Security, you think?
I believe so.
Should I go back?
You can.
A minute.
Oops. There it is.
Norton 360, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it opening? Do you? Oh, there it is. Ah, there it is. Secure VPN. Turn on.
Yeah.
Where? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I had it, but it was off.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
It defaults to off.
That's not good.
All of them default to off, which is unfortunate.
What am I to do?
You're all set. You're done. You have a VPN.
So I'm set with it then.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Are there any other gems I'm not taking advantage of? What you see?
And I mean, you could add parental controls if. Yeah, and I think your ID, your ID theft. So that's, you have everything. So, so if you have Norton, there's a step. There's that's where you turn it on. If you have McAfee, it's probably something similar like that. Okay. So thank you, Dan, for showing us how to do Norton. Other questions? Yes, no. I'm getting awkward staring faces.
I have a non-VPN question.
Go for it.
Maybe you talked about this at one point. When you log on to something and it asks you, do you want to log on with Google or Facebook or use the password that you assigned to that application, is one better than the other? Or does that have to do with sharing of information between those services?
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry, I lost you.
So if you go to log on to something like, I think even logging on to Zoom, it asks me, do I want to enter my Zoom password or do I want to log in with Facebook or with Google?
Yeah.
Is one way better than the other?
I usually always create a separate one just because I don't want Google or Facebook to have all my power and have all, you know, it saves in their system. And if you watch,
that's what I figured.
News, yeah, if you've watched the news, you know, Facebook is under a lot of scrutiny with privacy issues and things like that. So I tend to always create one. There are some that it's just so much easier to just do that. But I tend, when able, to create a separate account. So if you trust Google, you know.
No, I like to do the separate ones. I just was curious how much information sharing was going on there behind the scenes.
Yeah, we don't know exactly, you know.
Right. Okay.
So, convenience versus, you know, safety in the
So
long.
Lynn, it's Connie. Yeah. I've been watching on my iPhone, and while I was watching on my iPhone, I set it all up on Comcast on my iPad. I have to get it onto my iPhone, but I now have a VPN. And for those who aren't also doing three things and watching the news, the Supreme Court just upheld DACA protections.
Wow.
I know.
Thank you for
okay.
You know everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing three things at once right now, but
that's impressive. I can't task like that.
Lynn?
Yes.
For folks that don't have a VPN built into whatever they're using for internet security, if I share my screen, I'm on a website that ranks some VPN providers, and the two that you mentioned are on there. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
I see Cox.
Dan's still sharing.
There we go. Okay, you should be good, Stephen.
So VPN Mentor is the website. Now, if I can scroll, there's ExpressVPN, the first one you mentioned,
Yep.
with a 9.8, very highly recommended. And then there's Nord with an 8.5, the other one that you recommended. But this, trying to think what I could do here. I will send you this
awesome. And then
link.
Forward it on. Yep.
Yes. And I'm sure if you explore into the website, it'll get you to each provider and you can read about the providers.
Yep, I found a website very similar that does a lot of rankings. So you guys can choose what's best for your price range or what you're comfortable with. So it's a good resources. The internet has a lot of things to help with. It's always good to read reviews too, see what people like about them and what they don't, because you usually see either the really or the really critical reviews. So both are good. Yes. Other questions about anything? You don't, it doesn't necessarily have to be VPNs.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It's about booting from a disk. I'm finally, after 4 years on my new computer, which is not new now, I'm trying to get rid of my old computer and I want to wipe out and I have a D-ban, but I know I insert it and I do F2 to make it boot from that disk. Is that correct?
Like a CD disk?
Yes, yes.
USB.
What? Yes, a CD.
Okay.
CD disk. So I know that I think I put the CD in and then turn on the computer and hit F2 so it boots from the CD.
Mm-hmm.
But then, do you know that, or does it? How will I find out what's going to happen?
So are you trying to install something, or does it have like photos or videos on it that you want?
No, I'm trying to wipe the disk free. I'm trying to wipe out the whole computer, everything.
Oh, reboot it to factory restarts?
Yeah, but that's not an option any place that I can find on my old computer.
What version do you have? Windows 7 or Vista?
Before Vista even. What was the one before that?
Windows 98.
Were you born yet? Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I was born the year the internet was invented, so that gives you an idea. Yeah, it's probably software, and I haven't done that in such a long time that I'd have to.
Well, I'll try to find it someplace else. I know my son-in-law gave me a D-ban, D, and I know that's supposed to do it, but right now he's up to his eyeballs working at home, so I thought I could try to do it on my own.
I'm sure you can. Wiping computers is fairly easy. Just make sure you've got all the stuff off it that you want off it.
Yeah. That's why it took me 4 years.
Back up your computer. Always good. Yes. Goes back to ages ago. Betty, did you have a question?
Yeah, this is actually, I have a track phone, and my daughter-in-law sent me a picture of my grandson and my son. So when she sends these, in the past, I've been able to hit them and then I can share it and send it to my computer, and then I can print it or send it to my sister or whatever. But look what happens now. I hit it.
Can you?
And it shows a tree. I took a picture of a fallen tree a couple of weeks ago, and every time I try to hit this to share it, the picture of the tree comes up.
Can you hold it up higher to show the camera? So that's your,
so
yeah.
This is my grandson and my son.
Yeah.
Now watch, I'm gonna hit it.
Yeah.
So I can share it. And instead of sharing, I get a picture of the broken tree.
That's odd. If you
Which is in my,
right.
It's in my gallery, so. Do what?
Did you swipe to see if it's saved?
Yeah, and it doesn't. Nope.
Great.
I know, but this is the kind of thing that happens to me with technology. Weird things that nobody understands.
Yeah. So if you hold the photo down for a little bit, does it do something sometimes if you hold it down in the text message?
Okay. Whoops.
So,
went to the wrong one. Just a sec. Let me pull it up again. Like, hold it down. No.
For a few seconds. No. Is this regular text or it's in WhatsApp? Just a regular text?
Text, yeah.
Yeah. That's bizarre. Huh. No.
That's the kind of thing that happens to me. So I don't know. I think the only thing I could do would be, I know where this is. It's in the, let me clear it. It's in my gallery. I mean, I could clear that picture, but I'm afraid it'll just go to another one.
The photo is in your gallery?
It's in my gallery, so I can delete that. We'll see what happens. probably more trees and everything else. Let's see.
That's bizarre. Yeah.
Okay, whoops. Let's see. Nope, it still goes back to the same picture. Never mind, I'm not going to take your time anymore.
Is that your wallpaper background as well? Or do you have a
What's
different?
that?
Is it the same image as your wallpaper on your phone?
No.
Oh, that's bizarre. I'll have to do some research.
I don't think anyone has ever had this problem before. That's okay. Go back.
Yes, there are certain people that you just know they're going to have trouble.
And that's me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm sorry. That's frustrating. Maybe try something new.
The only thing I could do was tell my daughter-in-law, when you're sending pictures on text, if you think I might want to copy that, send it to my laptop, send it to Comcast as an email, and then I can do whatever I want. So that's how I solved the problem.
That's a good workaround.
Betty, is it something that you could take a screenshot of? You might lose some of the resolution of the photograph, but if you take a screenshot of it, and then you could forward the screenshot over?
Obviously, I don't know how to do that.
Did you say it was an iPhone?
No, it's an Android.
No, track phone.
Okay. Not familiar.
Google screenshot track.
Can you email it to yourself?
I used to be able to do that, but as of last week, this is what's happening. I have no symbol for sharing, so I can't, it doesn't come up like it does, like it has in the past.
Is your gallery full? Is your gallery full?
I don't know how to tell.
Betty Ann, how you can do a screenshot is to hold down the power key and the home key. So that big middle button in the center and the side button at the same time.
We'll talk about this another time. I can't even find that. If I were on the computer, I'd know exactly what to do, but I don't know how to do that on this because it was a conversation that went on after that. And again, anytime I hit the picture, I just get the tree. Anyway, move on. Thank you.
Technology is not always our friend.
I know.
Other questions, concerns, troubles you're having? No? Yeah. I know we're creeping up on 11 too, so if you wanna.
I do have a question. Maybe you already covered it, but what is the password manager? What does it mean?
I know someone asked to talk about it for next week, which we can do.
Ah, okay, perfect.
But the short answer is it is a digital version of saving all your passwords in one place. It encrypts your passwords so that you only need to remember one password, and it will save all the passwords for you. And they can make a more secure password than using the one password you tend to use over and over again on different websites.
Oh, perfect. So you're going to cover that next week?
So we'll talk about that next week.
Perfect.
She just did. We don't have to meet next week. She just did.
My guess is it won't take a full hour to talk about next week. But I have a password manager that I use, so I'll show you how that works.
Great.
So it makes things a little more secure. It's not perfect like anything else on the internet, but it's one more thing you can do. Like one more level. You just have to decide what you think it will benefit you depending on your skill level and how much you want to pay and all that stuff. So,
Hey, Lynn, I got a question.
yes.
These VPN providers, when you select one and you have to pay a monthly fee, does that get added to like your Comcast bill or Verizon bill?
I think Comcast and Verizon, well, Verizon for me, it wasn't an additional cost. But I did start this a couple years ago, and when I was doing some research for this, it looked like there was some fee. So you'd have to check your Verizon or Comcast account to see what is provided and what is not. But it's again, how much power do you want Verizon or Comcast to have? It's nice to have it all in one place, but it's, you know, putting all your eggs in one basket. So,
and you'll probably get a better VPN if you go with a third-party vendor.
Yeah.
But that will
do?
cost you additional, and it will not go on your cable bill.
Do they send you a separate monthly bill or whatever?
Usually you give them a credit card number and they bill it monthly. Sometimes sometimes they give you an option to pay annually, which will save you a little bit of money.
Okay.
If you do Verizon or Comcast, it would be in your Comcast or Verizon bill. It costs the money. So if you're like me, you can do like the Verizon one didn't cost me anything, but then I add a third one because I, you know, am paranoid.
We know.
I know I say that almost every week. So
paranoid is good.
It is good. It's very good.
Yes. So yeah, it really just depends on how much you want to dive into and, you know, all that. Other questions, concerns? Because it has been almost an hour and I don't want to hold you if you have to run off and do other exciting things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Yep.
What could be more exciting than this hour?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Agree.
Well, I'll do a promo for Bob Bell since he's on here. He's going to be teaching the Journey class Sunday at noon. So if you want to see Bob try to lead a Zoom meeting, he's an expert now. So tune into his Journey class. So there's links in the emails.
There will be an exam.
Oh, well, then we're not attending.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's good to see you. I'll stick around if you have questions or things that
Thank you, Lynn.
you don't want to ask in front of the whole group.
Oh, thanks a lot, Lynn.
I'll see you next week.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you so much.
Yep, good to see you all. Okay. Okay. Good to see you guys. Questions?
I'm just hanging in case you need some other support.
Elsa, you've got questions, or you?
No. I just also was seeing if anybody had any questions. Maybe I can learn something extra, but I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you too. Bye-bye.
Take care.